statewide law enforcement task force to announce a rescue of 122 children in our latest rescue mission spanning over 2 weeks. So please give them a round of applause. As I said back in July, this is why we do the job. Here in Florida, everybody now knows protecting our kids, keeping them safe, preventing them from being extorted and endangered, that's what it's all about. That's why we go to work every day. It's why we do what we do. There is no greater calling when it comes to law enforcement. So we're excited to announce this rescue effort. 122 kids that were reported missing, they're now back in our custody. This, however, is not the end of the mission. This is really just the beginning. These kids, ranging in age from 17 down to just 2 years old, many have been through the unthinkable. They've been trafficked, they've been exploited, they've been abused. They need our help now more than ever. This task force worked proactively to make sure that medical care and rehabilitation was ready immediately after they were back in our custody. They're getting that help. We will continue to get them that help, find them homes where they are loved, where they are protected, where they will be empowered to lead successful lives, and we're going to get them on the road to recovery. With no doubt, they need our prayers, and they need our help now more than ever. As you hear me say all the time, in Florida, we've got the absolute best law enforcement. This is only possible with our national standard coordinated task force effort, where we've got Florida Department of Law Enforcement, Juvenile Justice, Children and Families, our local police departments, our sheriffs, all working hand in hand with the U.S. Marshals to go out there, leave no stone unturned, utilize technology and every resource at our fingertips to get the job done. So I'll conclude before turning it over by saying, by now you should know, if you come into Florida and you want to lay a finger on our kids, if you want to prey upon them, if you want to groom them, if you want to abuse them, everybody up here is coming for you with everything we've got. We're going to lock you up for as long as possible, and we're eligible for child sex battery. We will indeed seek the death penalty. So child predators, stay out of Florida. You are not welcome here. If you come here, we will hold you accountable to the fullest extent of the law. So thank you for being here this morning for this great announcement. With that, I will bring up the U.S. Marshal Bill Berger.
I can't say enough about the support that he gives his operation, 110%. Thank you so much, General. I also want to thank my director, who could not be here today, Gadi Seralta. As you know, there was a government shutdown. And because of that, unless a particular operation was considered mission critical, they would not fund or accept that. He made this mission critical. So I applaud him. Unfortunately, his mother passed away last week, and her funeral's today. That's why he's not here representing the Marshal Service. I want to thank FDLE Commissioner Mark Glass. I know Mark is not here, and the Special Agent in charge, Mark Burdell. I can't say enough about the support. The command post was actually where you're sitting right now. FDLE has been a tremendous partner in this particular effort. Also, General, I cannot say enough about Rita Peters, Special Prosecutor. She is a bulldog, and that's exactly what we need when dealing with kids. I know Callahan Walsh is here, and I want to thank Terry Santiago, my chief over SIIB, for the region in bringing Mr. Walsh here. It's so important to put a face to this national emergency that we have. After Operation Dragon Eye, at the time the most successful child recovery operation in the history of the United States Marshal Service, where 60 reported missing and exploited children were recovered, discussions were held between myself and our subject matter expert, Senior Inspector Mario Price, to confer and moving forward and expanding the operation to include all of the Middle District of Florida. The endeavor expanded outwards to the cities of Orlando, Orange County, city of Jacksonville, St. Johns County, and all the surrounding jurisdictions, the city of Fort Myers, Lee County, and Collier County, with the hope of either equaling or surpassing the 60 rescues that were accomplished during Operation Dragon Eye. Inspector Price then reached out to these jurisdictions to see if there was interest and commitment to enlarge the operation. With the support of, again, our director, Gaddy Seralta, and other agency headquarters staff, Operation Home for the Holidays was launched. The operation consisted of over 200 partners, to include the FBI, 11 sheriff's offices, 4 police departments, 4 state agencies, and 25 non-governmental organizations. By far the largest combination of sworn and non-sworn non-government organizations in the history of the child recovery operations. As a result of Operation Home for the Holidays, 122 kids, their pictures should be up now, ranging from age, as the general said, 2 to 17, were located and recovered as illustrated by this photo. Thus far, there have been 6 adults arrested associated with this operation, ranging from charges lewd and lascivious to multiple sexual batteries and more, and there will be more persons arrested in the very near future. The breakdown of the recoveries by location were as follows: Fort Myers, 29 recoveries; Jacksonville, 22; Orlando, 14; Tampa, 57, and 13 were located and recovered outside the state of Florida, 11 of which were in other states in the United States, and then 2 were located internationally, Mexico and Guatemala. There are many human stories involving this operation. A picture behind me will see the photos of a brother and sister embracing, having been reported missing separately 2 years ago in Fort Myers. In Jacksonville, 2 brothers aged 14 and 15 were reported missing a year ago and found within a trailer park. Both brothers had been exposed to methamphetamine and other drugs by persons in that trailer park. The 2 boys were found under the influence and suffering from severe malnutrition. When found, they told members of the recovery force, "Thank you for saving our lives." They were later reunited with their mother. These stories are just a small example of the success stories of the operation, which allowed our Middle District of Florida-based child recovery initiatives to stand out. Is the emphasis on what happens after we recover the children. We know these children have significant needs, and once we find them, it makes sense to build these operations alongside of like-minded partners from across the child welfare space. Going back in time when Adam Walsh and Jimmy Rice and numerous other children were abducted and murdered, America made child abductions and locating missing children's priority number 1. Over time, though, incidents such as 9/11, school shootings, the war on drugs, have somewhat diminished the priority. But Operation Dragon Eye, Home for the Holidays, it is hopeful, and we're starting to see this nationally now, that the successes we have initiated the importance of missing child cases. I would like to personally thank all the persons and organizations that participated in these 2 operations. I know we have made a difference. Lastly, one special group I would like to recognize, Boomerang Air Charter, a group of volunteers who provided charity mission flights that were used to charter aircraft dispatched to locations to bring back children to the Middle District of Florida. Boomerang Air Charter supported recovery of children located in the states of Illinois, North Carolina, and South Florida. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marshall. Next, Vaden Pollard, FDLE.
Thank you, General Uthmeyer. Thank you, Marshal Berger. It's an honor to be here with you today. I'm Deputy Commissioner Vaden Pollard with the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. I'm speaking on behalf of Commissioner Mark Glass. I can't think of a better news story than to have the opportunity to stand up in front of a group of people and to announce that there are 122 kids who are safe now. They're safe because of the efforts of this great team that you see standing here behind me. We could not do it alone. Everybody working together in unison, it pays dividends. I don't think I've seen a more committed team to keeping FDLE safe in years. It's been a great pleasure to work with everyone here. Next, I would like to talk to you a little bit about what FDLE's part was in this operation. Our analysts, so we have several crime intelligence analysts throughout the state and also in our Missing and Endangered Persons Information Clearinghouse, also known as MEPIC. All of these kids' names are known. We put these packets together. We do a detailed analysis, dive into social media, make contact with their associates, and do everything we can to find them. And in this case, you see the results, 122 kids. The ages, it's surprising whenever you hear that, isn't it? You can't think of a more vulnerable group of people than our kids that are out here in Florida and that are missing. They are preyed upon by people who want to do bad things. They convince them of a reality that's going to keep them safe, but it's not real. And they're put into a life of servitude. Many of them are. And now, these kids are not. So thank you all very much, all of the partnering organizations that come together. We couldn't do it without you guys, and we couldn't do it without General Uthmeier's leadership. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I think on the year between these two missions and then Operation Lightshine and the Tebow Foundation, I think we got to be very close to 300 children rescued, which is far and away the largest record in Florida history. Secretary Walsh, come on up.
Thank you, General. Governor DeSantis appointed me Secretary of DJJ a few months ago with the charge of public safety. And between the collaboration of the governor and General Uthmeier, saving kids is part of public safety. The team behind you can't be thanked enough. In particular, Dr. Catherine Gomez from DJJ, she was our lead. She's our Director of Human Trafficking. And without her leading on behalf of DJJ, it'd be very difficult to be successful. Thank you, Doctor. I want to thank all of the people from DJJ. You know, we have offices across the state between our detention, probation, health services. This was a huge team effort to spread across the Middle District of Florida to ensure that we were giving care to the kids as they were being found and located. Again, 122 youth. That is astonishing. But the work doesn't end because we have more youth that need to be found and rescued. I just want to thank the team behind me. Your efforts can't be understated enough how important this work is. And partnership, so between FDLE, DJJ, and DCF, working hand in hand as state agencies, collaborating with the federal services, and of course the nonprofits. Just thank you to everyone. Thanks, General.
Secretary Hatch, DCF.
Hi, good morning. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. My name is Taylor Hatch, and I have the absolute honor of serving as the Secretary for the Florida Department of Children and Families. Under the leadership of Governor DeSantis, who leads by example, he sets the pace and the tone and the expectation that we deliver for Floridians and their families. And that's why today is so very important. It highlights the fact that moments matter and the critical nature of partnership to deliver, because lives are on the line. I am humbled and, again, so grateful to stand alongside so many dedicated professionals, leaders, and colleagues. Attorney General Uthmeier, U.S. Marshal for the Middle District of Florida, William Berger, FDLE Deputy Commissioner Pollard, Secretary Walsh from DJJ, and so many others. Thank you to the U.S. Marshal Service and FDLE for organizing today's event. It is an opportunity not only to reflect on the success of Operation Home for the Holidays, but to reaffirm our shared commitment amongst government, amongst faith organizations, not-for-profits, and the private sector, unifying and utilizing one another's strengths and one another's expertise to deliver and to promote the safety and well-being of Floridians, in particular children. As evidenced by the numbers that you've already heard and have been reported, this commitment and demonstrated partnership were found woven throughout the entire operation, from the earliest planning stages to recovery to ongoing supports. An important example of this can be found by highlighting the operations service hubs that were formed in each of the 4 target cities, hosted by Baptist Medical Center and Wolfson's Children's Hospital in Jacksonville, Florida, Orlando Health, Baycare's St. Joseph's Hospital in Tampa, and Golisano's Children's Hospital in Fort Myers. Each hub houses partners from across all sectors to quickly activate resources, providing immediate trauma-informed services and coordinated support to those precious 122 children that were safely recovered as they begin their journey to recovery. Bringing these children to safety would not have been possible without coordinated planning and the brave men and women in law enforcement leading and serving on the front lines. But, as we know, recovery is only the beginning. Helping a child heal is the work that follows. And strong, positive networks of supports is how we, as human beings, we thrive. Operation Home for the Holidays is an important example of what we can achieve when we come together with urgency and shared purpose. Thanks to the efforts of many, 122 children are now safe and supported, and that is something that everyone should be proud of. I would be remiss if I did not quickly highlight the contributions of the DCF team, who provided critical information, helped shape recovery protocols, and deployed child protective investigators as well as criminal justice coordinators and human trafficking specialists to support this mission in real time, giving well-deserved recognition specifically to our team of 12 DCF operatives and heroes from Northwest, Northeast, Central, and Suncoast regions, as well as our statewide headquarters team. Thank you. Thank you for your expertise, your unrelenting dedication, and your incredible passion. As a mom and as a leader, I am so proud and humbled and honored to work alongside of you each and every single day. This appreciation and pride, it also extends to the outstanding work of our lead agency partners, providers, and victim advocacy partners, 2 of which you'll get to hear from in just a moment, who work together focusing on the importance of trauma responsiveness, placement, and behavioral health supports for the children that were recovered. I want to thank the leaders from the United States Marshal Service, FDLE, DJJ, and our incredible Attorney General, as well as your teams for your partnership and for recognizing the impact of our agencies and partners' contributions. Thank you for standing in as a posture of partnership in a unified mission to protect such a truly precious population, the children of our great state. Thank you.
Amen. Tracy, next.
Thank you. Good morning. It is a pleasure to stand with all of you once again in support of the incredible work that the U.S. Marshals Service and our local law enforcement are doing to protect children. We are grateful for the men and women undertaking this important and difficult work. This is the 3rd time that Baycare has assisted the U.S. Marshals Service to provide medical and mental health services for children rescued during a child recovery operation. Each time, our goal is to ensure that the kids who are brought to our recovery hub are welcomed into an environment that is safe, comforting, and most importantly, consenting. Creating a positive healthcare experience is a first step to building trust. By doing so, it is our hope that this vulnerable group of kids will be more inclined to seek help in the future, realizing there are people who sincerely care about their well-being. To that end, I want to thank our Baycare team members, from our counselors to our physicians, nurses, security personnel, and more, who volunteered their time and talents to support this important mission. I also want to thank the community and social service agencies that were part of our recovery hub: the Department of Children and Families, the Attorney General's Office, Pasco Kids First, the Crisis Center of Tampa Bay, More to Living, One More Child, Suncoast, and Bridging Freedom. Each provided on-site, compassionate victim advocates and support staff who were instrumental in securing safe housing and offering pathways for additional care and support. Lastly, I would like to recognize and congratulate our other health system partners from Jacksonville, Orlando, and Fort Myers who participated in this operation for the first time. Baptist Medical Center, Orlando Health, and Lee Health really took a leap of faith and each created a successful recovery hub to provide the essential care for children recovered in their areas. As the largest provider of pediatric and behavioral health services in West Central Florida, Baycare is proud to lend our expertise and resources to support these critical missions being conducted by the U.S. Marshals Services. To be part of the highly skilled network of professionals that they have assembled is inspiring. These operations solidify strong partnerships between law enforcement, healthcare, and community-based organizations to work together naturally in real time outside of these operations when needed. It is a testament to the good that can be achieved when we unite under a common goal of protecting children and recognizing that each act of care and kindness has the potential to save a life. Thank you.
Kim from More to Life.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us. As a representative of MTL and on the behalf of the entire victim services community, I am deeply honored to stand with the U.S. Marshal Service, FDLE, and local law enforcement agencies as we announce the results of this operation involving 122 critically endangered missing children. While the Marshals led the law enforcement mission with extraordinary skill, our role as victim service providers begins the moment a child is recovered and continues long after these headlines fade. When these children were located, they were often found in horrific conditions, traumatized, and unsure of who is safe. This is where integrated victim services and NGO partnerships make a vital difference. We bring trauma-informed support that helps stabilize a child in the first critical hours after recovery. We help them feel safe, seen, believed, and protected, sometimes for the very first time. When NGOs and law enforcement partners together, it also ensures that each child's physical, emotional, and mental needs are recognized immediately. We provide crisis response, medical and mental health, safety planning and support for appropriate reunification. And when reunification is not the next step, we work closely with our child welfare partners to begin to secure safe placements where healing can begin. Our involvement is not only about care, it's also about ongoing support. We help bridge the gap between law enforcement, child welfare systems, community agencies, and families so that no child falls through the crack after a recovery. We focus on long-term stability, ongoing therapy, education support, advocacy, and wraparound care services so that we give each young person a real chance to recover and thrive. This operation shows what is possible when law enforcement and victim service organizations operate as a unified team. All of our law enforcement partners brought unmatched investigative expertise. NGOs and service providers brought the lens of healing, safety, and human dignity. Together, we created an approach that protects not only a child's location, but their future. To the victims, we see you. To our law enforcement partners, we thank you. And to our community organizations standing with us, your compassion and expertise are indispensable. Our work does not end today, but today reminds us that when we work together, children can be found and hope can be restored. Thank you.
Callahan Walsh, National Center for Missing and Endangered Children.
Good morning. Thank you all for being here. I'm Callahan Walsh, co-host of America's Most Wanted, alongside my father, John Walsh, brother to a once missing child, Adam Walsh, and executive director at the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. We are honored to stand alongside our partners, the U.S. Marshal Service, to discuss the success of this recent operation and the impact it's had on children and families here in Florida. Ahead of the operation, NCMEC identified missing child cases from the targeted regions and shared those cases with the multi-agency working group. These cases involved children missing from care, victims of child sex trafficking, children battling significant mental health challenges, and others facing serious endangerments. Every one of them uniquely vulnerable while missing, something my family knows all too well. To support the operation, 2 NCMEC analysts were deployed on-site to provide real-time analytical support to law enforcement in the field, leveraging every available resource and piece of information to help locate and safely recover these missing kids. Over the course of the 2-week effort, 122 children were safely recovered, and each represents far more than a statistic. It represents a child brought out of harm's way, a family reunited, and an opportunity to provide support and services that help prevent future victimization. Operations like this are critical. They unite multiple agencies, data sources, and specialized expertise around a single mission, bringing missing children home. At NCMEC, we remain deeply committed to supporting our law enforcement and child welfare partners who work tirelessly every day to locate and protect our most vulnerable kids. We are profoundly grateful for our longstanding partnership with the U.S. Marshal Service and for their leadership in coordinating this multiple disciplinary effort. Today, we are stronger, and together we will continue to focus every available resource toward the recovery and safety of missing kids. Thank you very much.
Dun, dun, dun. Rita Peters to close us out.
Thank you for being here. We're proud to share the impact that Operation Home for the Holidays, a coordinated effort focused on locating missing children and ensuring that they are safe as we enter into this holiday season. This operation reflects the very best of the collaborative public safety work of these agencies. Prosecutors like myself, Stephanie Bergen, Mary Salmon, and Emily Frazier from our Jacksonville office, federal, state, and local law enforcement, such as FBI, HSI, St. Petersburg Police Department, Tampa Police Department, Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, and I could keep going on. Our child protection teams from our DCF partners, our victim advocates from the statewide prosecutors' offices as well as the NGOs, and also from the Office of the Attorney General and FDLE, and community partners, all came together with one mission: bring our children home. This level of teamwork doesn't happen by accident. It happens because leaders make it a priority. I want to extend my deepest gratitude for being part of this operation. Thank you to U.S. Marshal Service, Marshal Berger, for his exceptional expertise and commitment, to Mario Price, who picked up the phone about 6 months ago. Unbeknownst to him, I was going to be at his heels nipping at this operation. And to my leader, whom I affectionately refer to as Boss Man, Attorney General James F. Meyer. Their dedication makes operations like this possible, and their support ensures that we have resources and the coordination needed to protect vulnerable children. For prosecutors, participating in operations like this is essential. We provide legal process, subpoenas, preservation letters, search warrants, arrest warrants, and legal advice. But our work begins long before the courtroom. Being on the ground, seeing the investigative challenges firsthand, and understanding those immediate needs of each child gives us the insight that directly strengthens our cases and our advocacy. It helps us identify patterns of exploitation, risks in trafficking, and the vulnerabilities that put children in harm's way, so we can act quickly and effectively and advocate more passionately. More importantly, it reminds us of the human side of this work. Every child recovered during Operation Home for the Holidays is a child who now has a chance to be safe, supported, and seen. When prosecutors join these efforts, we ensure that every recovery is followed by the appropriate legal action, the services necessary, and the long-term protection. This operation shows what can be accomplished when we work together and when the safety of our children is treated as the highest priority. It is a powerful reminder that every missing child deserves the full force of our collaborative effort to bring them home, especially during the holidays when families should be whole, hopeful, and safe. And I leave you with this one request. Mario, when are we doing this again?
Final thank you to all of our investigators and law enforcement again. This is why we do the job. Here in Florida, we're blessed to have these heroes, and we've got their back. I'm certainly going to love on my little ones tonight and hold them close. I hope you all will do the same. Children are such a gift, and anybody that wants to do them harm is going to face the wrath of this team standing up here behind me. So do two things. Get the word out. If you're a child predator, you better stay the heck away from our state. And two, please pray for those that have been rescued and need our help more than ever. I believe there's nothing more powerful than prayer. And pray for those that are still out there missing. And as long as there's one kid missing, we will keep the search and fight going. So with that, Marshall, you want to come up? I know you have some of the more particulars. If there's any questions about the operation, and I'll jump in as needed.
I wouldn't specify that as a problem here in Tampa Bay. It's just the fact that there's such an openness, and now that we're doing these operations, we're sharing that information. As we're getting the word out, a lot of jurisdictions don't have that connectivity. And I think what we're seeing here, and this is a blueprint for the rest of the state and rest of the country, to say that collaboratively we can make success. And I think that's the key thing, is it's all about gathering information, working with analysts, and getting the job done.
What can the state do, and what is it doing to fight the root causes of why children are being trafficked?
It's a very complicated question from the standpoint that you look at the children involved. Many come from very bad situations at home. Many are foster children that leave that foster environment. We got to kind of tighten those organizations. We got to reach out to those kids, local law enforcement in domestic violence situations, and make sure that it's just not take the report, move on, or do the criminal aspect. Try and get our partners here in back of us involved in this, and hopefully turn these kids around.
I jump in too.
Yes, sir.
So on the question of how do we combat this more globally, well, number one, we keep doing operations like this. And that's number one. Number two, where you see a lot of this trafficking and abuse, it's almost always tied to illicit pornography industries that are going after minors, and we're cracking down there. It's tied to large-scale drug networks. It's tied to the open border, and we're obviously cracking down there to prevent a lot of this criminal activity that creeps over and spreads out. When it comes to the medicinal, the rehabilitation, there we've got state agencies looking for the best ways to provide the medical care and ultimately improve the quality of life where these young people are set out to help them to succeed. So it's multifaceted. I believe it does start with law enforcement cracking down to highlight the issue. A lot of people, they don't understand human trafficking is real. But it brings the idea, it's 8 little kids in a trunk of a car. Sometimes it is, and that's horrific. But it's also often more complicated than that, with ties to prostitution, to pornography, and to illicit drug trade. But you better believe we're going to keep fighting it with everything we got, if that's not clear. Any other questions? Sure. Well, there's all kinds of new products that are coming into the state. A lot of them are from overseas. You've got hemp, you've got, Chinese vapes, you've got this kratom leaf, where we've cracked down on a highly potent, chemically enhanced kratom product 70H. We've been doing raids across the state on that. Again, there's a lot that the legislature really needs to look at. I didn't sign the letter because it came from the NGA, the non-governmental AGAs Association. I wanted to look at it a little bit more and figure out the best way to regulate. But Congress passes the laws, and a full sweeping regulatory overhaul of hemp, I think, was greatly needed. Our team is looking in on that, and we're going to make sure that we're getting illegal products off the market. We're going to protect our consumers. We're going to protect our kids. And if we see that 70H, if you don't know what the 70H is, it's dangerous. It is dangerous. It's highly concentrated. We've taken measurements that are 13 times more potent than morphine, and it was being sold, on a shelf right next to candy and retail products. So just because something's on a shelf doesn't mean it's gone through all the regulatory approvals. It does not mean it's safe. We're in a world where there's a lot of new products coming in, and it's up to us, state leaders, law enforcement, and the legislature to get involved, crack down, and make the tough decisions to protect our consumers.
Is there more of the social service
Yeah, somebody want to jump up?
Thank you for the question. I think that's why partnership is so important. You know, we touched upon the state agencies that are wrapping around to support and preserve childhoods. We also touched upon the local not-for-profits, the faith-based entities. It's everyone coming together to make sure that it's very person-centered, that recovery journey, whatever that may be, whether it's behavioral health, whether that is helping through education. It's a myriad based on that individual being very person-centered to help support them in their journey. Thank you.
Okay, thank you everybody for being here.